What's up, everyone? Welcome to Akuma's Arsenal, where we discuss wonderful, beautiful timepieces. Today is not an exception. Today we are reviewing this Omega R.17.8.
I go bananas, just like a primate. I let so much smoke out, I change the climate. Surrender your booty, cause I'm a pirate. I stab your eyes out, call it a blind date. X pills, Vicodin and some Xanax. White powder in my nose, don't call it anthrax.
Wonderful wristwatch. Excuse any background noise you might hear, just family talking. Got a lot of family over today. Yep, this is the R17. This is the R17.8 SC version. Finding out the movement was a pain in the butt. Number one, anything before probably about 1960, or maybe like before like 1955, everything on Omega is super duper hard to find. Even Omega doesn't even know anything about this watch. When you go on their website, they have a wonderful catalog of a lot of the watches that they've made throughout their history from the beginning until now. Once you go back this far, you're going into the 40s. Man, they don't have any information on these watches. I'm happy though, because there are wonderful resources out there on Omega. You've got, as a matter of fact, I'll show you guys those right now. Alright guys, we are on Omega's vintage watch section. If you go down here to, let's say you go to the Omega Watches homepage, you scroll down to the very bottom, and underneath Planet Omega there will be vintage watches. Omega has created a list of every single, well, not every single honestly, but you know, a good portion of their collections they've made in the past, the different calibers. Just to show you how many calibers Omega has made over the years. What we are looking for is all the way at the bottom here, the R17.8 SC. This is how I found out about the movement. Well, this is actually not how I found out about the movement, but this is how I, was trying to see if I could find any information that Omega would give me about the movement. Unfortunately, there was nothing. You've got these four watches here that Omega knows that they put in this movement, and they look nothing like the watch I'm reviewing. It kind of has a crown similar to this one, it kind of has hands similar to this one, but it's definitely not any of these watches right here. It's nothing similar. It's just in the same style maybe. So what you need to go to if you have an old Omega, like I said, that's pre-60s, pre-50s, and you need to find out what it is. Go here. This is on chronomatics.com/Omega caliber list.html. This right here will be your lifesaver. They have all of the, you can see here, they have all the Seamaster, Speedmaster, all the main movements up here. Unfortunately, we need to go through movements through the years because we are dealing with a wristwatch that, that's a little bit unknown. So as you go here, number one, if you can eyeball when watches are made, you can go here to, let's say, oh, I think the watch is made in the 40s. So what you can do is you can go here, 37.5 T1, copy, paste it, paste, Omega movement, images, hopefully there's no nudes. And you go down here and you say, okay, is this the movement I'm looking at? Okay, what's the difference here? It's got 4 jewels on the top here with Omega written here, and the numbers are written there. This is what you do. What I did though is I didn't actually go there. They have a different section here for the miscellaneous watches, because it's the movement I'm looking for is a tank style movement, but it's in a round case. Luckily for me, they have a list here called tank style watches, and here you see this is the P17.8 and the R17.8. One thing that they don't mention here though is that there's two R17.8 movements. right? If we go back to Omega, scroll all the way back down, if we look for the R17.8, there's an R17.8 and there's R17.8 SC. So from there, what I had to do was, you know, find out, is it the SC or is it the .8? And it's very, very, you know, you really need to be able to spot what's going on with the watch. So here's an R17.8. Notice that the numbers are here on the side, along this. I mean, I wish I knew more about mechanical pieces, but the serial code for this movement is written right here in the R17.8, right? Mine is written here, underneath this gear. And if you look here, there it says R17.8 SC. So if we go back over here, type in R17.8 SC. And we look at watches that have the same movement, we can see that it's very, very similar. This is the watch we just saw before. He's putting Medicus as a question mark. This is not the Medicus, the one I have at least. And I actually don't even know what movement is inside the Medicus. I don't think it's the R17.8 SC. However, it's very similar in the back. It's got the same ring here. Crown looks about the same. So we keep on looking. We see if we can find this exact same wristwatch. This is not it. It doesn't have anything similar about it. It's just it has the same movement. We see the CK2300, and if we go back to Omega to the top, we see that it's the CK379, CK2311. You know, I looked up these. None of this helped me out. Couldn't find my exact watch, so we keep on going because Omega doesn't have anything on my wristwatch. We keep going. This is promising. My back looks very, very, very similar. No markings. All right, okay. Oh, whoa, this is exactly my back. 1944 to 45. Oh, Adam Vintage. Let's check this out, right? This is what you're going to have to do when you find these old wristwatches and you have no idea, you know, what they are. Unfortunately, this is a different watch, definitely. But as you can see here, look at the, I mean, this watch is beat up, but look at the lugs. The lugs have that same cut right down the middle. That's a good sign. Let's check the, okay, you see this right here when it says 2300/S, this is the military version of the watch. This means it was made for the United States military. I'm almost certain of it. And as you can see the date here, it's 44 to 45, right? So how do they date this though? How do you know it's from 1944 to 45? Okay, so it's got the same movement, it's got the same case style, it's even got the same hands, but it's a black dial instead of a white dial like mine. So how do we find out when our watches was made? What you go to is I bookmark it. You go here to once again Chronomatics. Man, this place is awesome. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it, my man. Written in 2001. This guy is the SHIT. So we look and see, okay, where is my serial number? Where is my serial number? Where is my serial number? My serial number is, I can't remember off the very top of my head, but it's in between 10 million and 11,000, right? So there's a 1 million. So it could be during World War II, it could be just after World War II. So what we're going to do is, shoot, I can't remember hopefully maybe it's saved in here somewhere, the date I wrote, but no. My movement is 10 million, like I think 400,000 something, right? So it's somewhere in between this year. And if we just play it by this, so there's 3 years in between 44 and 47. So if we do 3, and then we divide, we do that. We divide that by, 1 million. Oh gosh, whatever. I know the numbers. So it's about 333,000 per year. So if it's in 1944, it would be underneath this number. I mean, this is just averages here. I mean, none of this is exactly perfect. But 33,000, the next 33,000, so 33 to 666,000 would be 1945, and then on and on and on. If we're just going to take it on the average, and
and pray that Omega's numbers stayed relatively stable around this time. If we do the calculations, this means, so if we go by 1944 to 45, 333, 1945 to 46, 33 to 6, devil's number. And then afterwards, it's 47, right? Mine was, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I dated it back, and it was from June. If you do this calculations, June of 1945. So just off the top of my head, ending date. I'm pretty sure World War II ended in the summer. Might have been in March. So let's see if it's a World War II era made during the war. Let's see. It was fought from 2nd of September 1945 was the last day of World War II, meaning that since my watch is made in June, based on these numbers here and averaging them out, my watch has maybe has 2 months worth of error from my calculations to be made in World War II. So I'm gonna guess it's 1945, 1945 and a half. That's the date of the wristwatch. But as you see here, it's perhaps the closest to 1 years.
So that's a little bit of the research I did going into finding out more information about this wristwatch. At first I was concerned, the case looked really, really, really good. It has no damage on it, and it doesn't look like it's ever been polished. So I was, and the crystal is super duper clean, so I was kind of worried, is the movement not made for this, is the case different than the movement? No, I got that answered by looking at other examples. What about the crown? The crown doesn't have an Omega seal, an Omega sign on it. But then you know what? I looked at old vintage Omegas from that time period, and none of them had Omega crown, the Omega horseshoe, whatever it is, the Chronos symbol on the gosh, I can't speak for anything right now, on the crown. Looking at the back, why are there no markings on the back? Well, that's keeping in line with the thing. But so some disappointments I had is, no, it's not a military wristwatch. If it was a military wristwatch, it would have had the 2400/S markings on the back. These do not. That's what I found about this wristwatch. It's definitely in the military style. Could it have gone to some military? Maybe. My inkling is that it did not, judging on the just the nicety of the watch. I know that a lot of watches with this exact same movement, they did get shipped over to the Army Air Force. Well, yeah, the Army Air Force, but they never saw combat. They just became surplus watches, and they started giving them away for all sorts of reasons. But that's the Omega. I'll tell you guys how I got it. Funny enough, this timepiece I got from my neighbor, like all my other watches, and I got it. I brought it over to my local watch guys. Unfortunately, the watch had some broken pieces in it, and it was really, really having a hard time keeping time. So I got it serviced and all that good stuff, got it back, and now the watch is here with me. This watch will not be staying with me for that long. I'm going to be trading a subscriber to get some more watches in for review. Honestly, it's not a very good trade. I'm giving him way more value than he's giving me back, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's just like, you just gotta spread the watch love. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's got a lot of Indian wristwatches. He's got some vintage Timexes. He's got some Orient Makos. So I can tell, that's how I started collecting too. I got, kind of lower end vintage watches, just dabble in a little bit. I had an Orient Mako, the exact same watch. I know he's kind of beyond that, he's picking up some more interesting pieces, but having a watch like this, I think would be great for his collection. So you know what, I'll take a hit here, and I'm gonna send a wristwatch to him, but I am getting something in return. The watch does have really, really wonderfully blued hands, and the movement does feel really, really good to turn. It's got the classic military markings with the big fat Arabic numerals, and then of course the timing wheel around the side for particular timekeeping. And it is not hacking, unfortunately. some things to notice. Whoever, I almost said your name, but yeah, when you get this wristwatch, I'm gonna keep your name a little bit quiet for now. But when you get this wristwatch, keep in mind that when it is wound, it is very weird to set the date. So keep that in mind. Keep also in mind that it is a vintage wristwatch. You know, these do not handle water well at all. Just mess with it, have it fun with it. Another cool thing about it, it's got these it's got some spring bar holes, so that's really cool. Really easy to change the strap out if you don't like this one. This one is a little bit bent. I remember someone in the comments the last video was asking me why I don't like wearing bracelets. I just because I like needles, but you know, these kind of bracelets where they're thin, they're easily adjustable. I love these kinds right here. But the whole, like, you know, Jubilee or the bands, you know, like those thick stainless steel ones, I don't like those at all. I don't like those at all. You know what? Let's get some size comparisons out. The watch is 30.64 millimeters without the crown. With the crown, it's 32.83. No. Yeah, with the crown, it's 32.83. So just say 33 with the crown. And then lug to lug, it's 37. And last but not least, and the spring bar size is 16 millimeters. So it is a very, very small wristwatch. And surprisingly, I've been running into a lot more people who are rocking small wristwatches. I was at my local mall the other day, just checking out Macy's, because Macy's is about to close where I live really soon. And a lot of the watches are on sale, so I'm going in there, I'm talking to this guy, and he's wearing a nice, like 36 millimeter quartz Seiko. And I'm talking with him about this stuff. He's like, yeah, I like small watches. So, and I also talked to this other larger, other fellow at another different watch store in the mall, and he was rocking this nice small, like, you know, gold toned vintage Bulova. So I mean, hey, I think the small watch game is coming back, and once people start switching to small watches, it's gonna start driving up the value of these old vintage timepieces for sure. We'll see what happens in the future. I see the vintage watch world going on the up and up and up, thanks to people like TGV from the Urban Gentry. You know, he's a really good way to get into watches. He covers so many awesome wristwatches, and he really sparks your interest in them. Another really cool thing that TGV does is that, you know, he puts a lot of people onto that passion. Like me, definitely started collecting because of TGV. Initially, I just, you know, I think I found his channel. Yeah, I think way back in the day. I don't know if, I'm sure no one remembers this, but way back in the day, there was a guy named Alpha M. So I was, you know, like maybe like 15 or 16. You know, I'm like trying to figure out like how to be cool, you know. And I'm watching an Alpha M video, like maybe like second time or whatever, and this TGV guy comes on and he's talking about watches. I'm like, huh, interesting. So I go and check out his channel. He didn't have that many subscribers at the time, definitely less than 10,000. And I watched a bunch of his videos, and you know, I started getting into the watches. And I did my research. He hadn't reviewed the watch at the time, but I got an Orient Mako, and then I was off to the races. Anyways, guys, enough of me babbling on about a ton of unrelated things. Back to the watch. If you guys are looking for a watch like this, of course you can get them from eBay, but one of the really wonderful things about getting watches from face to face is the unpredictability of what you might find. When you go face to face, you really don't ever know what you're going to be getting. I mean, I might be one of the very few people in the world who's ever handled an R.17.8 SC movement before, honestly, and I feel very fortunate about it. And I'm sure the man who I will be giving this watch to, or trading this watch to, will be very, very happy about it also. Let me know what you guys think. I would really want to hear about it. Do you guys, well, first of all, if you have handled this movement before, that's pretty dope. Second, I mean, anybody here have vintage Omegas? The guy I was talking to at the mall, he had a vintage Omega. I'm gonna meet up with him this Sunday to see more about what's going on with him. You know, check out some of his watches and stuff. If you guys are interested in vintage Omega, check the link below. I'm gonna have an eBay search link in there where it'll just be Omega vintage. Look through it. If you ever do buy something, I get a commission. So if you click that, browse some eBay links, Thank you very much. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you very, very much for watching your video. Thank you very much, my neighbor, and thank you to all the wonderful people who do a very good job at preserving Omega's history. If you guys are interested, you guys should really go check out Omega's website. They have a really cool history, kind of chronology of their timepieces. And one of the things I want to do in my life before I turn it to dust is check out the Omega Museum for sure. Anyways, that's how I'm gonna wrap up the video. Thank you very, very much for watching. Akuma out.
Hey man, what is that one anime show you used to watch where they're fighting the dragons or fighting the robots?
Oh, hold on, let me think about this.
You know what I'm talking about,
They're
right?
fighting robots.
Yeah, they're like fighting big robot things.
The Matrix? Animatrix. Is it the Matrix style?
No, I don't
Okay,
know.
so it's not, is it Ghost in the Shell?
I don't know the name of it at all.
Appleseed? Well, then if you don't know the name, I'm just naming stuff that you don't know. Like, well, here, do you have anything else about it besides they're just fighting robots? What kind of robots?
They're like four-legged, like I don't even know. I'm very vague. It's like the only one I used to watch with you or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know.